Good afternoon and welcome, members and friends of the Hamilton College community. I bring you excellent news. Come next summer, our college will have a new president. I've had the opportunity to meet with him and can tell you that his priorities and values are right for our college. I commend the search committee that brought him to us, and I give you now its trustee co-chairs, Bob Delaney and Steve Sadoff, who is also chair of the Hamilton Board.
Thank you, Joan, and thank all of you for coming out on such a beautiful day outside on the last day of the fall, I guess the last day of classes in the fall semester. I'm Bob Delaney. I'm class of 1979, and I had the great privilege of serving with Steve Sadoff as co-chair of the Presidential Search Committee. Before Steve introduces our next president, I'd like to spend a couple of minutes just talking about the search process and the search committee itself. First, and most importantly, the search committee felt great about the candidates that we reviewed and interviewed throughout the process. We had a very large number of candidates. I believe this is a reflection of Hamilton's status as one of the premier liberal arts colleges in the country. And also, I think it reflects what great shape the college is in today, both academically and financially. The committee was particularly pleased by the quality, breadth, and diversity of the pool of candidates we ultimately interviewed. I want to thank the members of the search committee for their dedication and hard work over the 9 months we worked together on the committee in order to find an outstanding individual to head Hamilton College. We could not have had a better group of people representing the college, I want you all to know. I would like to introduce the on-campus representatives of the search committee that are with us today. I'd like them to stand as I call their names, and please hold your applause until all of them have had a chance to stand up. Student representatives, Phoebe Greenwald, Caleb Williamson. The faculty members, Catherine Duran, Shoshana Keller, Stephen Wu. Our representatives from the administration, Lori Dennison, Monica Inzer, and Karen Leach. Please let's all give them applause. I'd also like to thank my fellow trustees who could not be here today. They too put in many hours on our college's behalf, and we are grateful for their service. Even though they could not be here in person, I'm sure many of them are joining us online. I'd like to ask you to join me and recognize them. Just give a round of applause for the people out here. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Hamilton College Board of Trustees Chairman, Steve Sadoff.
Thank you, Bob, and let me also echo my thanks to the entire membership of the committee, as well as Bob, who co-chaired this. The amount of time and effort that all of you who are members of the committee put into this endeavor is remarkable. Weekends and trips back and forth to New York, interviewing numbers of candidates and going through resumes. It really was a labor of love, and I just want to thank all of you as well. Bob, I can't really thank enough because he spent so much time on it, and his insight, candid observations, thoughtful leadership contributed significantly to a selection process that went smoothly, concluded successfully, and really hit the timetables that we had hoped for. Along the way, we really wanted to identify our next president by the end of the year, and at times we were asking ourselves, were we going to be able to do this and pull it off? But it worked out well, and couldn't be more pleased. As Bob said, I'm a member of the class of 1973, chair of the Board of Trustees, and I have 3 children who are Hamilton graduates. So we all have enormous amount of vested interest in in the outcome of this search. And I believe that as an alumnus, a parent, a trustee, that I have a pretty broad perspective about the college, its needs, and I believe that Hamilton is in the great position that it's in today because of the people who work on its behalf. And there are so many in this audience today and who are online who have worked tirelessly in getting to Hamilton to where it is today. And today is not a celebration of Joan, but I want to give special recognition to Joan as well, because she's had a remarkable tenure as the 19th president of Hamilton. You know, it's going to be difficult to replace Joan when she retires in June, but I think we found the perfect candidate for Hamilton. The person the search committee selected and recommended to the Board of Trustees is currently the Dean and Professor of Law at the University of Minnesota Law School, and is a recognized authority in international law and human rights, having recently co-authored several books on the topic. He received his Bachelor of Arts degree summa cum laude from Princeton, his master's from Yale, and his JD from the Yale Law School, where he was editor-in-chief of the Yale Law Journal. A native of Minnesota, he spent time in upstate New York as professor and associate dean at Cornell Law School and vice provost for international relations at Cornell University. He also practiced law for 9 years and spent a 1-year leave from Cornell as a director in the National Security Council's Office of Multilateral and Humanitarian Affairs, where he worked on war crimes issues, the International Criminal Court, economic sanctions, and UN political issues. While at Minnesota, he led the development of a strategic plan, improved student and faculty diversity, increased fundraising results, and led the law school's transition to a new financial model. Members of the search committee were impressed with his intelligence, warmth, and deep enthusiasm for liberal arts education. He personifies many of the aims of a Hamilton education. In particular, he is a strong and collaborative leader and a clear and effective communicator. I personally have enjoyed getting to know him during the process and look forward to working with him in the coming years. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the 20th president of Hamilton College, David Wippman.
Please sit down. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Joan, thanks for your very kind remarks. And Steve, thank you for your very generous introduction. And thank you all for such a wonderfully warm welcome to Hamilton. I'm thrilled to be here and honored to be asked to lead one of the oldest and finest colleges in the United States. Of course, I've also been told, as another president was recently at his inauguration, enjoy all the applause. You won't hear it again until the day you step down. But if that's generally true, then Joan Stewart's presidency is the exception. Joan has received and merited applause throughout her tenure for leading the college so gracefully, wisely, and successfully for over 12 years now. As soon as she learned that I would succeed her as president, she called me to offer her congratulations and support. She was warm and welcoming. I fear, though, that in making that phone call, Joan may have made an uncharacteristic mistake. She gave me her cell phone number. On the bright side, when her phone rings next year in Raleigh-Durham, at least there will be no need to check the caller ID. As you all know, a college is the sum of the insights, initiatives, and talents of all of its members. So I would be remiss if I did not thank at least a few of the many members of the Hamilton community to whom I am already indebted. And while it may appear a little self-serving, I would like First, to thank the members of the Presidential Search Committee, chaired by Steve Sadoff and Bob Delaney. In particular, I'd like to acknowledge the on-campus members of the search committee who represented the college so well in the process. Their candor, enthusiasm, and obvious commitment to teaching and learning show what makes Hamilton College such a special place. I should hasten to add, however, as authors tend to do in the acknowledgments to their books, any flaws in the final result are my responsibility alone. I also want to thank the members of the Hamilton College Board of Trustees. It is the college's great good fortune, and mine, to have such able and generous supporters. And finally, let me thank everyone who's played a role in putting together this afternoon's events. In the sport of crew, as I learned recently while reading The Boys in the Boat, there is a phenomenon called swing. As one rowing dictionary explains it, swing refers to that elusive sensation that occurs when all rowers in the boat are seemingly in a symphony of harmonic motion. A boat in swing surges forward. Rowing feels effortless. The past is no barrier to what may be accomplished in the future. Of course, a college like Hamilton is too complex ever fully to be in swing. But under Joan Stewart's leadership, it has come close. Entering classes in recent years have set new records for quality, selectivity, and diversity. New and renovated buildings enhance an already beautiful campus. Teacher scholars of the highest caliber have come to call Hamilton home, and active and engaged alumni have given generously of their time and resources. But higher education is not and should not be static. Great institutions must, by definition, be and remain at the cutting edge of positive change. Throughout its history, Hamilton has had the courage to lead, even under difficult circumstances, as the college did recently by moving to need-blind admissions in the midst of the Great Recession. Hamilton will need that same courage and foresight in the years ahead. The future will bring new challenges around issues of access, affordability, technological change, and the compelling need to build on recent progress around diversity and inclusion. These issues have been important to me at Minnesota and before that at Cornell, and they will be important to me here at Hamilton. Fortunately, Hamilton is well positioned to lead. It has one of the country's most talented faculty, willing and able to innovate, students who are bright, motivated, and politically aware, a skilled, experienced, and dedicated staff, and an active alumni eager to make the school even stronger. That's what makes the prospect of serving as Hamilton's next president so exciting. You know, my own liberal arts education was, for me, a transformative experience. It opened doors for me, introduced me to people who became lifelong friends, and enabled me to perceive and pursue possibilities I might not otherwise even have considered. When I arrived at college, I thought I already knew how to think and how to write. That lasted until I got my first paper back. It was covered in a sea of red ink. I was not happy, much less grateful. But each succeeding paper came back a little cleaner as I learned to think and write a little clearer. And then a few years ago, I noticed in the alumni magazine that the professor who taught that long ago freshman writing seminar had retired. And I realized I had never thanked him for having such a transformative impact on my life. So I sent him a letter. His response, "Your letter was well written." He sounded surprised, but he was happy to know that the red ink had not gone to waste. Our job looking forward is to ensure that all of our students have the most life-changing and life-enhancing education possible. Hamilton College has risen to that challenge for over 200 years, and I have no doubt that working together, we will continue to meet that challenge in the years ahead. I can't wait to get started. Thank you again for giving me this extraordinary opportunity to join the Hamilton family. Thank you.